Okay, we're going to practice drawing the chair conformations of cyclohexane. I think you may find if you go searching online, if you go to 4 different websites, you'll get 4 different explanations on how to draw cyclohexane. Most of those are good, and it's important to find a method that you're comfortable with. And then once you find a method that you're comfortable with, practicing it a lot so that you get comfortable drawing these structures. Another video that I can recommend that has a different explanation is Dr. Pennington's. So check out his video. If you don't like the way I describe it, maybe you'll like his method better. Okay, so I'm going to follow the instructions from the book. I find that following their instructions, I get consistently the best structures for cyclohexane. So I'm going to go ahead to the next slide, well, I guess 2 slides from this, and practice drawing it. If you want to pause it or come back to this while you're practicing it yourself, these are the instructions that I'm going to follow. Now, one important thing we should find at the end is that we should have 3 sets of parallel lines in our structure. If we don't, or we're not even close, then you want to probably draw that again. Okay, our first step is to draw a shallow V. All right, then what we're going to do, starting up here, I'm going to come down at a 60-degree angle, but I'm going to stop before I get to the midpoint of my V. All right, the next step is to come up here, and I want it to be parallel to this line, and I'm also going to stop before I get to sort of this horizontal position. All right, not great, but we're going to run with it. The next thing is to come down here, and we want it to be parallel and about the same length as this line. All right, and then the last thing we'll do is connect those last 2 dots. So it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can see this isn't perfect, but I do have, right, I think this line is pretty close to being parallel to this one. These 2 are basically parallel, and then these 2 are basically parallel. All right, and so the key is to just practice several times until you get fast at drawing these. Okay, in the last example, we did a chair where we had the foot down here and the head was up here. Now we want to draw the other conformation where we have the foot down here and the head up here. Right? But it's basically just going to be a mirror image of what we did the last time. So we start with a shallow V. All right, then we come down at a 60-degree angle, stopping before the midpoint of the V. All right, then we come up. We're going to be parallel to this line, and we're going to stop before we get to there. All right, now we'll come down here, parallel and about the same length as that line. And then we connect the last 2. All right, so try practicing drawing this conformation a couple times until you feel comfortable with it. All right, the next thing that we need to do is we need to put substituents onto our cyclohexanes. And each carbon will always have 2 substituents. We'll have one in the axial position, and the axial are always vertical lines. They're always straight up or straight down. The equatorial are not straight up and down. They're also not straight across. And then one key, on all of the carbons, they'll have 2 substituents, and one will be up and one will be down. If the axial is straight up, then the equatorial is not going to be straight down, but if we imagine a horizontal line here at this carbon, it's got to be below that horizontal line. So the axial was up, so the equatorial is going to be down. And we'll see this again on the next slide, but on this one, the axial is going to be down, and so the equatorial is going to have to be up. Okay, so drawing the axial substituents is pretty easy. If our carbon is essentially pointed up, the axial is going to be straight up. If our carbon is pointed down, the axial is going to be straight down. And if you notice, they alternate, right? Up, down, up, down. Or if we look here, right? Up, down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, right? And if the carbon is pointed down, the axial is down. If the carbon is pointed up, the axial is up. Now, the explanation the book gives for the equatorials, and it's pretty good, right? We're going to look sort of 2 bonds away, right? So if I look at this carbon, I go 1, 2. Its equatorial is going to be parallel to those lines. If I look at this one, right? 1, 2, or the other direction, 1, 2, right? It's parallel to those. I'm not going to worry so much about whether or not you've got it parallel or not, but I think what's important to notice is, right, if the axial is up, the equatorial on that carbon has to be down, right? And then the 3 equatorials on the right, they're all to the right, right? And so the axial is up, so the equatorial has to be down and to the right, right? The axial is down, so we've got to be up and to the right. The axial is down, so the equatorial is up and to the right, right? For these 3, they're all pointed to the left, right? Axial up, equatorial down and to the left. Axial is down, the equatorial is up and to the left, right? The axial is up, so the equatorial is down and to the left. All right, so let's practice putting in our substituents. So to make things a little bit faster, I went ahead and pre-drew the carbons in the cyclohexane. And so for my axial substituents, right, this carbon is pointed up, so its axial is straight up. This carbon is down, so its axial straight down. Up, down, up, down. Right, now for the equatorial substituents, right, this axial is straight up, so the equatorial is going to be down and to the right, right? And then if you want, right, it should have been 1, 2A, so it should be parallel to this carbon-carbon bond, right? On this carbon, the axial is down, so the equatorial needs to be up, and then again, the ones on the right are going to go to the right, right? And we're looking, if you want to worry about it, we want to kind of make it parallel to that line. But the key is, again, if the axial is down, the equatorial has to be up, right? Axial is down, the equatorial is going to be up, and we want to make it parallel to that line. But again, I don't care so much about whether the equatorial substituents are parallel to the carbon-carbon bonds. The key that I'm looking for is the axial is down, these 3 on the right, it's got to be up and to the right. So this one, now the 3 on the left, they're all going to be sort of pointing to the left, right? This one's up, and so the equatorial needs to be down and to the left, right? And we're looking at being parallel to this one. Down and to the left, right? This one needs to be up and to the left, right? And this one needs to be down and to the left. All right, on my last slide, let's draw the substituents on the other. All right, so put in the axial first, right? If it's down, we're going to be down, up, down, up, down, up. Right, and then these 3 equatorials will point towards the right. These 3 equatorials will point towards the left. Right, this one's up, so I got to be going down. So down and to the right. Down and to the right. Up and to the right. Down and to the right. Right, on these 3, they'll be going to the left, right? So this one's down, so I need to go up and to the left. This one's up, so I need to go down and to the left. This one's down, so I need to go up and to the left. All right, and so that's how we draw the different conformations of cyclohexane.